Today on the Ask Brady Show, we talk about the big church app controversy. And I don't like to say I told you so. Wait, I do. I told you so. Well, hey there! And welcome to the Ask Brady Show, episode number 38. We've got 4 great questions from the people of Pro Church Nation, and I'm joined as always, to my left, your right, it's Roxanne.
It's true.
True it is, behind the camera, the editing wizard himself, Joe Nex. And the man with the cam, Alex Mills.
Thanks. It's not really as special as it sounds because I work here, but I'm here.
Well, Roxanne, I'm back from Greece.
You are.
And I'm ready for the first question. So, take us away.
All right. First question comes from Dow, and he sent in a video.
Hey, Brady. Pastor Dow here. Want to let you know I am making an audio version of my book since I know you don't read. But I wanted to ask this. As I'm trying to get our social media stuff up to par and been working on that for a while, we want to give at a 5-to-1 ratio to the amount of times that we ask something of people. But I'm wondering if sometimes when I'm giving, I'm actually asking, and when I'm asking a question to start a conversation, that can actually be giving. So how do we determine what is giving versus what is asking so that we can keep our giving at a 5-to-1 ratio on social media as a church? Thanks.
Great question, Dow. I really like this one because it gets into the philosophy of social media and how we approach it. I also really like the 5-to-1 ratio. Seems sustainable, and it also seems like a really healthy balance between serving your audience well, but also having them take action and interact with you in ways that you are going to find valuable. At the end of the day, I think the most important thing to firstly realize is that what you value and what your audience values don't need to be, and are almost certainly not, mutually exclusive. Just because something is valuable to your audience doesn't mean that it's going to be, a sacrifice for you. It reminds me of that Friends episode, the classic where Phoebe insists to Joey that there's no such thing as a selfless act. That Joey gives like $100 of his own money to PBS, and then Phoebe's like, "Yeah, but did it make you feel good?" And he's like, "Yeah, it made me feel good." Well, then it's not selfless. It's evil. It's like, no. It's not yes or no. It's not black or white. In fact, oftentimes there's an intersection between what your audience finds valuable and what is important to you. Maybe not necessarily always in the short term, but in the long term. So, for instance, you could say that us recording and creating the Ask Brady Show every single week is valuable to Pro Church Nation and is a sacrifice for us because we're not getting any money from this. Storytape.com, sign up for the launch list. We're not getting any direct money from it. It's like, but at the end of the day, this type of show, along with all the free content that we give away at Pro Church Tools, is integral to what we're doing as a company. It's absolutely necessary. It's so valuable to us. Without it, we wouldn't be the company that we are today. And so those two aren't mutually exclusive for us, and they're likely not mutually exclusive for you either. Now, the way that you determine what your audience is going to find valuable comes down to knowing your audience exceedingly well, and also recognizing that there are a ton of different things that people value. So, for instance, Pro Church Tools, a lot of the times what we do that we think Pro Church Nation finds valuable is educational content, right? So even this answer itself, teaching on the philosophy of social media, tips and tricks when it comes to digital communication, websites, social media, video. These are things that are valuable because we are teaching something so that you, Pro Church Nation, learn something. And it's valuable because now you know something that you did not before. But there are other things that are valuable that maybe aren't as intrinsically good, per se, but they're just as valuable. Humor, for instance, is something that the entire internet finds insanely valuable. That's why some of the most viral content is often funny content, because that's what people find valuable, because it's entertaining. A lot of the times, the stuff that's the most valuable just comes down to pure entertainment value. And that's why something like a question can be deemed valuable. Yes, you're asking your audience technically, but the question that you're asking is likely going to create reactions that others will read and find entertaining, or someone will be able to interact and they like giving their opinion. That makes them feel good. Again, you are creating a space to deliver value to them, even though technically you're asking them something. And so at the end of the day, it comes down to really knowing your audience. What are they going to find valuable? And it's pretty universal, especially for something that is considered a nonprofit, in the church world, like entertainment, humor, things that make us go, cute stuff. WeRateDogs.com, for instance.
Yes.
Don't follow Roxanne on Twitter. It's just her retweeting dog stuff. My feed is muddied at all times with dog propaganda.
But they're so cute.
They are so cute. 14 out of 10. I have been away from my dog for 12 days, and I will be reunited with him today. After this, we need to hurry up. We need to go see him. So it really comes down to knowing your audience, knowing what they're going to find valuable, and just don't limit yourself to what value can really be, because it doesn't need to be necessarily spiritual or pure or like this super overly hyped thing. It can be seemingly shallow. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, the most viral content is shallow. If you look at most churches, go to Life Church, like the types of churches that really do social well. Bo Coffin over at Life Church does a great job. And what Bo knows is that the type of content that almost always performs best on Life Church's social channels is the type of content that's just fun and goofy and like easy to interact with, not necessarily the scripture post or the excerpt from Pastor Craig's sermon or the ultra deep devotional. It's like, no, which are you more excited for? The upcoming Star Wars movie or Stranger Things? And then people battle it out in the comments below. That's the type of stuff that we find valuable because if nothing else, it's entertaining. Yeah. And that's something that is highly valuable to us as humans. Interestingly, we had something like this similarly go down in the Pro Church Tools world. So I was rethinking my personal Instagram account at Brady Shearer. If you're not following it, head over, give it a follow. And for the entire duration that this Instagram account has existed, I've posted tips and tricks, basically. A lot of quote posts teaching the stuff that we traditionally do on Pro Church Tools. I did an Instagram story before I headed out to Greece for my vacation, and I said, what do you guys think about the future of this Instagram channel? Do you want to see more like behind the scenes, just kind of autobiographical, like entrepreneurial, this is what it looks like to run a company stuff? Or do you want like still more tips and tricks? And a lot of the responses, in fact, the majority of the responses that I got were from members of Pro Church Nation saying, every channel that you do is tips and tricks. That's not a bad thing. That's why we like following you, but it might be cool to see something a little different. Like, show us that behind the scenes because we're not seeing that elsewhere. Yeah. And so that's something else to consider, that maybe what you consider valuable isn't necessarily what others do. And so if you're not sure, Dow, feel free to ask your audience. They'll probably give you some feedback that you might find useful.
I just want to see more photos of Ross, your dog, actually.
Well, see, there you go. Again, shockingly, Roxanne stays on brand and wants more dog stuff.
All right. Question 2 comes from Paul.
Well, hey there, Brady and Roxanne. I'm Paul Pratiksha here. We are from Chennai, India. We are part of the media team in our church here.
We are avid followers of Pro Church Tools, and we thank you for giving us so much content for free. May God bless you for that. But now we have a question for you regarding SEO.
Yeah, so we are redesigning our website. We see people out there offering SEO consultation. So my question is, should we get those SEO consultation, or should we keep the basic principles of SEOs in the back of our heads and then design our website based on that? Thank you.
Thank you.
SEO, it stands for Search Engine Optimization. And when it comes to your church, it is of supreme importance. Interestingly, I was just on Facebook reading through a comment thread on church apps, and one person was bold enough to say that they would prefer having an app over a website. And I was like,
really?
You are insane, individual. I'm not going to call you out on Facebook, but I am having a visceral, upset reaction to this comment, simply because, if nothing else, SEO and being able to be found online by those that search for you is of supreme importance. And the more that your site is optimized for search engines and those that are searching for you on said engines, the more likely you're going to be found, the more people are going to stumble across your site, the more good first impressions you can make, the more people you can get connected with your church. But it all starts with setting your site up in such a way that the search engines know what you are and can properly index you. I would say that there are more sleazy SEO companies out there than most industries. And I cannot comment on this particular company that's reaching out to these two, but it's probably not going to be worth the money. I think that at the end of the day, you can do SEO yourself. I love search engine optimization personally. To share with you a couple of resources, you can check out moz.com, MOZ.com. Plenty of free content, all SEO based. Backlinko.com. Backlinks are tremendously important within SEO. Basically, another site linking to yours. This site is called backlinko.com. So backlink with an O at the end.com. Brian Dean is the guy that runs that site. I have learned so much about SEO just in the last month from him and his team. I think that you can do this yourself. If you're going to be able to undertake building a website yourself, whether it be with WordPress, Squarespace, or even some custom coded stuff, you also, I'm sure, have the capacity and the ability to handle the SEO. Some more SEO tips. If you're using WordPress, you'll definitely want to install the Yoast SEO plugin. This will give you, within your WordPress page builder and post builder, the ability to add in the right meta description, choose the custom title of the page, make sure that it is not too long or too short, optimize for a certain keyword, put in custom images for Facebook and Twitter so that when it's shared, you're setting up images that are made specifically for those individual platforms. These are just basic things. Submit using Google Webmasters tools. They have a ton of great SEO stuff. You can submit your site map so that they know exactly. You can just give them your map and be like, this is our site. Index it properly. You can give that directly to them. These are the type of things, basic keyword research. We use a tool called ahrefs.com, ahrefs.com. That's a paid tool that is not exactly cheap, but is fantastic. SEMrush is another one. There are just so many great resources, paid and free out there, that are going to help you understand the basics of SEO. You just don't need to pay a company, I don't think, to do it. Now, if you have the money to do it and you want to outsource it and you've done your due diligence, this company is legit, they're going to offer great services, they're going to get you where you want to go, then maybe consider them. But I've found that there are a lot of cold emails that I'm getting from SEO companies saying, we can help you rank better. I'm like, I already rank great. This is just a cold, gross copy and paste email that means nothing. So beware of that. If you're already going to build a site on your own, you can surely handle the SEO as well. All of those tools and resources, some free, some paid, should aid in that quest.
Perfect. All right. Question 3 comes from Zachary.
Hey Brady, this is Zach from Vancouver, Washington State. I am the youth and worship guy at my church, and I had a quick question on Facebook groups versus pages. In general, what's your opinion? Should churches have either one or the other? And then when it comes to youth in general, is it better for them to have a group or a page? With groups, I know that you can see who actually saw the post by name, but a page, it seems to go a little bit farther into the community and spread what's going on. So love your feedback. Love what you're doing at the Pro Church Tools. Thank you so much.
Zach, thanks for the question. A common question that we get, the difference between Facebook pages and Facebook groups. First and foremost, both serve unique purposes. Both are awesome. You don't need to choose either or. The groups feature is something that Facebook is spending a ton of time and effort on right now. In fact, they have been soliciting people within the church world that I know personally, hiring them, working with them one-on-one, saying, how can we create real community using Facebook groups? And that's really what the groups feature is going to be made for. That more insular, inbound, inward type of community and reach that you want. So these are people that are already connected to your church. You could do it ministry specific, so the youth group specifically, the young adults group specifically, the men's group specifically, and then pages, those are going to be more reaching outwards. Those are your kind of catch-all. That's where you're showing up in Facebook for search. That's how you're doing boosted posts, Facebook ads, reaching out into the community. That's going to be more of your top level, whereas the groups are more inward. That's your kind of next level. If Facebook pages are going to have a broader reach, the Facebook groups are going to have more of a deep reach. It's like deep versus wide. They both can coexist. You don't need to choose either or, but they do serve two very unique purposes. And the problem is when churches run into trying to use groups where a page would be best suited, or trying to use a page when a group is better. For that more community interaction stuff, you're going to want groups. For the more outreach, broad search, advertisement, you're going to want pages. definitely start with a page first. You're definitely going to want to start with that and then move into groups if that is something that you haven't already done. But then, yeah, both serve unique purposes, both super helpful. Not too much to add on this, except for that, like I said, Facebook is really investing a ton into groups. For a while, it seemed like groups were being eclipsed by pages and kind of forgotten. But like almost all of the content that I engage with and almost all of the time that I'm spending on Facebook now is within groups, which is crazy because I think Facebook recognized that they were starting to lose a little bit of attention. They doubled down on groups. And once you got someone in a group, like it gives them a reason to keep coming back because it's real community. It's not just seeing like, oh, Roxanne posted more about dogs again. It's like back and forth conversation, interaction. It's not just like blasting a post from one to many. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth conversation, which is how you get people to stay on social long term and keep coming back and really stay on the site longer, which is what Facebook wants. So 2 different unique purposes. I recommend using both.
All right. Last question comes from Tim.
Hi, Brady. Hi, Roxanne. Thank you very much for all you do. Quick question for you. Where should our video announcements live? I produce them every week, and we post them during our services. They sit really nicely in our service flow. But where should they live after service? We post them to Facebook, and now with all the analytics and everything, shorter attention spans and shorter videos are more appropriate for Facebook or more viewable on Facebook. For years, we've been posting our video announcements on Facebook at 2 o'clock every Sunday. Now the question is asked, where should they live now since shorter videos have better survivability or better viewership on Facebook? We notice that a lot of other churches post them to YouTube, Vimeo, but we have some other ideas of what we should do with our video announcements. But where is a good place for our video announcements to live after Sunday? Thanks, guys.
Well, at the heart of your question, Tim, is the difference between the real estate that you own versus the real estate that you're renting online. So this is a very helpful analogy that I was introduced to many years ago. But basically, think of the real estate you own online as your website. And then the real estate you rent are outposts such as Vimeo, Facebook, or YouTube. Facebook does have an album feature that is similar to YouTube's playlist feature, where you could upload all of your video announcements to Facebook and then kind of collect them all within a single album. But I think that, and you alluded to this really with your question, the downside of this is that if you're noticing a lack of engagement on your video announcements posting to Facebook, that could in turn affect the engagement on your Facebook page as a whole. Right. The Facebook algorithm, it feels like a finicky type of thing. And if you're posting this consistently every Sunday at 2 and it's the same thing, likely what's going to happen is people are going to begin to drown it out a bit. And now if you have a post that is frequently and consistently performing poorly, Facebook might just say, you know what, maybe all their content on their Facebook page is going to perform poorly and then penalize the other content. And so that might give you a little bit of pause and say, okay, maybe we shouldn't post this on Facebook. I think that hosting your video announcements on Vimeo or YouTube, I would probably prefer YouTube within a single playlist would be the best way to go. And then embed them within a single post or within a series of posts on your website. Because again, at the heart of this is the difference between the real estate you own and the real estate you rent. And you want to make sure that you have both so that if one of these platforms changes the rules on you randomly, you're going to be able to say, hey, that's okay because we have our own space. But you also want to have these rented spots in these really popular places. If you think about it like real land, renting on a Facebook or YouTube or Vimeo is like renting in like Manhattan versus the place that you own, which is in Niagara Falls, where the real estate isn't as expensive. Sure, it's your own place, but not as many people visit it. That's what Facebook is to your website. Your website is yours. You're in control, and no one's going to take it away from you. But not as many people visit that as Facebook. Obviously. And we've seen this really play out in so many different ways over the last 10 years online. We've seen Facebook, for instance, change their algorithm where one day they were like, hey, you know what? when you post something, we're not going to show it to everybody. And if your stuff isn't good, you know what? We're not going to show it to anybody. In fact, you need to pay to play. You want your stuff to be shown to the people that like your page? Give us some money. We saw this happen with Twitter. It used to be chronological. Same with Instagram. Now it's not. They're using an algorithm to show you what they think you'll like best. And perhaps nothing more timely than what we saw happen last week with Apple's announcement about apps. This happens and affects all industries, but it definitely affects the church industry, specifically the big app developers, PushPay and Subsplash, the church app and eChurch, where basically Apple is saying, if you're creating apps for your clients using a templatized software, not custom apps made from scratch, but using templates, we are not going to allow the apps that you make in the store anymore. Right. And so thousands upon thousands of churches got emails from Subsplash, PushPay. You can search their PR statements and their release statements on their own websites if you didn't get the email because you're not a user. And you can see that they're saying, look, this isn't something that we have control over. Apple changed the rules, and now your app is going to be kicked out of the App Store in a matter of time. So what are these app companies doing? Well, they're doing the best they can with a bad situation and saying, look, we're going to create this master app. And if you download this master app, then you can access your church's app within the giant app. And this is our workaround. And it's a great new solution. No, it's terrible. It's not their fault that Apple changed the rules, but it is their fault because church apps are stupid because people have been using templatized church apps forever, which suck. And that's why Apple is penalizing them, because Apple is saying, look, you, along with other industries, it's not just churches, there are these big app companies that are creating thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of apps that are all identical, releasing them in the App Store, creating a ton of noise, and now it's hard to find a good app within the millions of apps in the App Store because most of them are just duplicates over and over. And Apple's like, wait a minute, we own this platform. We own this real estate. We're not going to allow this to happen. In fact, if you don't have a custom app, you're no longer welcome. This is the danger of having too much space, too much of your resources allocated to the rental side of real estate, because you are not the homeowner. You are not the one that is the landlord. Someone can change the rules on you and kick you out, as Apple did this week with all of those church apps. And now churches that have been paying hundreds of dollars a month, $75 a month. For how long? Plus the app setup fee, thousands of dollars to set up their app for the first time. By the way, it was just for a templated app that cost no money and was a terrible idea to begin with. It's almost as if someone should have told them about this. If somebody should have been saying for years, don't build a church app, it's stupid.
We can only wish that had happened.
You know, hindsight is 20/20. My goodness. Apple has now said the same thing that I've been saying for all this time, which is church apps, templatized apps, mass-produced apps do not perform well. But at the heart of this conversation is you need rental property and you need property that you own. You don't want to over-index on one side or the other. So to get back to your question, Tim, I would host your video announcements on YouTube and then embed them on your site. That's what I would do. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Vimeo might give you a little bit better when it comes to compression standards, which is why a lot of churches opt for Vimeo, but no one's on Vimeo searching for stuff.
Nope.
And every time that you add a video to YouTube, it just gives you more content, more possibility for people stumbling across you in the second largest search engine in the world. Put it in a single playlist, so all your video announcements are there together. You can even have them autoplay one after another if you choose, something like that. And then embed those videos in their own unique post on your website. And that way, you're managing this dual framework, rental property and property that you own. And to close this out, because I did want to mention the apps and it kind of worked nicely into that question, if you are using a church app, I would definitely check with your provider. Make sure that your app isn't suddenly going to disappear from the App Store without notice. And whatever they say to you, Pro Church Nation, this is just from one businessman to another. It's not bad to wax poetic. It's not bad to frame things and position things and do good marketing when you have a great product. It's also not Subsplash and PushPay's fault that Apple came around and changed the rules. But if they're telling you that this giant app within which you enter, download, and then find your app is some better solution, it's not. It is already so hard to convince your church to download an app. They have to search in the App Store, find the space on their phone, download it, choose the notifications, And the data on that happening is very low. The data on them becoming active users of the app is like 1 in 5. It is tremendously low. We have a great article on Pro Church Tools about like 21 mind-blowing facts about apps. We use apps like crazy. The bad news? There's only like 3 of them that we use. Facebook, YouTube, Google, iMessage, Mail. Beyond that, we don't use anything. And so your custom app is fighting for like 1 fraction of a % of users' time. You're just not going to get it there. And it's also, for me, obscene to think that the solution that app companies are now propagating is download an app, open the app, and then search for your church's app. That's called a browser. Just use a website. Open Safari, search for your church, and use that. Why would you need more than one? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I've never downloaded a church app.
I truly feel bad for every church that's like spent a ton of money on apps.
Yeah.
It is also funny because the most popular YouTube video that we've ever published is an Elevation Church video about how you shouldn't copy Elevation Church. You shouldn't just copy their strategies.
Yeah.
You know how much hate and vitriol is on that post? A lot. There's a lot of great, helpful comments as well. Every single comment about that, about apps is like, why can't we copy Elevation Church? Their app is great. It's also custom built and has been spent a lot of money on. Same with Life Churches, same with New Springs. I've talked with the app developers over at New Spring. Their app is built on top of their church management system. They've spent tens and thousands of dollars and they have full-time developers on staff. What did churches do? They look at big churches and they say, I know, let's get a knockoff version of what they have.
Yeah.
Let's go to a company that's creating a knockoff version. And now what? Apple changes the rules and everyone gets screwed. Church, if this is you, feel sorry for you. And this is why your website is always more important than an app, which is why I brought up that comment earlier from that individual who thought a website should come second to an app. That's obscene. Anyway. I'm going to close out Ask Brady on a somber note. It's a sad day for church apps. It's a happy day for Brady. If you want your question answered, send it into the email hello@prochurchtools.com or hashtag Ask Brady on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. And we'll find it. Video questions, just like the 4 video questions that were submitted to this week, get immediately sent to the top of the queue.
Yep.
So send in a video and you'll get your question prioritized, just like the 4 individuals. Well, 5, because one of the questions was a 2-person question.
True.
And you'll be sent immediately to the top of the queue. We love you, Pro Church Nation. If you have an app, sucks. Sorry about that. There are brighter days ahead. Seize the 167, not with apps. And we'll talk real soon.